I want to talk about how to cite sources. So in a previous video, I had gone over your assignment. So I'm talking about the final assignment for the end of the course, right? We still have our weekly quizzes. We still have our discussion boards, and those discussion boards, though, more and more over the next couple weeks are going to have to do with your final paper, right? I'm hoping that by adding a couple paragraphs into the discussion board each week leading up to it, you won't have as much to do right at the end. So let me get into our class here. I'm going to show you that assignment sheet again. Remember, it's on one of the previous recordings. So I've got the file folder available. Let me move this over so I can see. So here's our paper and presentation assignment right there. Remember, these will not show up. Anything that's blacked out on my screen will not show up on your screen. So this will be the first thing you see on the opening page of Canvas. It's right there at the top for you. Final paper and presentation assignment due the third week of March, okay? So we're not having a final exam in this class. You don't have to see me March 22nd or anything during finals week. It's right before that, the 17th, 15th, 16th, 17th. That'll be the last week that we meet as a class, and that's when your presentation's due. And then instead of a final exam, you'll be turning in that paper at the very end during finals week, but we won't meet or have classes or anything like that. So just a reminder there. If you look, and I do have a video, that recording where I went over that assignment is on, if you go further down on that homepage into the video recordings, but I want us to look at this document a little more closely, okay? And I might exit and stream it straight from my Word document screen. It sometimes does better. If everybody can see okay, we can go straight from here. Is it kind of tiny on the screen here? Let me exit this screen share and pull it straight from my desktop. It's here for you, but just so you can see better, I'm going to stop the share and reshare straight from the desktop. And that usually kind of helps me zoom in a little closer, explain a little better, etc. So got that open. There it is. Okay. Now I should be able to kind of zoom in a little more closely, etc., so you can see it better. Okay, so on the original that I went over with everybody, I kind of went through this really quickly, how to set up the paper, right? And we'll be talking about this more and more. If you read this, you literally could just copy and paste the format I have here, copy and paste it into a document, and that will help you. Your name, my name, you will need to add your section number, and that's available when you log into Canvas and it says Guidance 102, and there's some numbers out beside it. That's your section number for the class. Obviously, it's not June for us, it's a different date, but you could literally copy and paste this. I have some really cool notes in here of just reminders that will help you with college essays in general, so you can read through that on your own. But the part I want to focus on today is how to cite sources, okay? So I showed you guys in a previous video a basic setup, and this is here for you. You would go with the author's last name and then first name, title of the article or video, italicized name of the website. If there's a different publisher, you can add that in there. It's not necessarily required. In a lot of cases, you don't have to add the publisher at all. Okay, and so you can see that in my example below. Day, month, year of publication, if you have an exact date. If you don't have an exact date, try to at least get the year, and then the full URL. And then so we have an example here. If I had written something and published it online, this would be my name, how to format an MLA assignment, name of my very cool website, here's the date, and here's the website. This is not a real website, by the way, so you'll get like a 404 not found message if you try to click on this and go somewhere with it, okay? Notice this example does not have a publisher, and that's because the publisher in this case is me, right? Like if you've already said the person's name up here, or like, for example, the New York Times, it's published by the New York Times. Like New York Times is the name of the newspaper, but also the name of the company is the New York Times too. And you don't have to repeat that information, okay? I'm not overly picky, especially with the guidance class. So I'm a little bit more picky with my English classes. If it's got some little imperfections in it, not the end of the world for this class, but I still want to see us following these good rules of what to do to give credit to websites that we use. Okay. So there's deadlines and all of that down here, and that's covered in a different video. But this is the focus for our class today. So if you notice on your, I might have to stop the screen share again, but on your assignment, you're asked to go to monster.com, indeed.com, etc., and start finding job ads that are of interest to you, okay? The discussion board for this week, and that's what you need to do. It's on there for this week. I went over it on the last call. You don't have to cite the source for this week. Okay. You can just write about some of the jobs you saw and describe them a little bit and talk about how you think you'd be a good fit for those jobs or what interests you in a paragraph for your discussion board, but you do not have to cite the sources. However, coming up, you will have to cite the sources. So I want to do a live example today of how you would do that. Okay. Let me explain by sharing Canvas again. Let me show you on Canvas one more time what I'm talking about. Let me go back to Canvas here for my screen share. So we are back on Canvas now. Our discussion for this week, we talked about it Monday, but really quickly, basically what you have to do is discuss jobs that you have found on monster.com, indeed.com, things that are of interest to you. Okay, so here's these websites, for example, that you would use. All you have to do is just describe it. Okay, you don't have to cite the sources yet. However, getting ready for that paper, we do. So I used an example. I'm going to switch tabs here. And I think we just started with monster.com last time, and we were looking up cosmetology jobs on the last class on Monday. So I'm going to go back to that same theme. And we're just going to leave an open location. Remember, you try to search local, but then you expand your search to try to just search everywhere. Okay, so we're going to find something that we feel is cool for us. My scroll right here. Hairstylist, cosmetologist in Richardson, Texas, licensed cosmetologist in Illinois. I'm just making this up, right? So some of you, I don't think anyone's planning to move to Illinois, but I'm just using this as an example that hopefully nobody's going to use. That way you'll be creating your own. Here we are. We've got some descriptions going, right, of what they need people to do. Quick thumbs up or thumbs down. I guess Zoom does not allow you to do a thumbs down. But do you think we should just, to respond to our discussion post for this week, just copy and paste that directly, word for word, into our discussion board? Yes? No? Yes? Just copy and paste it directly into the discussion board and we're done? It's a trick question. If we just copy and paste something directly into the discussion board and we're done, what is that called? All right, thank you, Clarissa. If I just copied and pasted this, copy, and I pasted it straight into my discussion board, call it a day, I'm good. What's wrong with that, Clarissa?
It's plagiarism.
It's plagiarism. Okay, so you see where I'm going with this. It was a trick question, okay, but you see where I'm going with this. Even in a Guidance 102 class, this is not just something that's only for English class. If you're taking a psych class, if you're taking a sociology class, if you're taking a biology class, if you're taking a class and they've asked you to write a paper, but even if it's smaller assignments, so a discussion board is a smaller assignment. It's not like a big paper, but still, we're not going to just copy and paste everything and walk away, right? What you can do is put quote marks around it if you feel like you want to use every word. But what I'd rather see you do, especially if it's a one paragraph in the discussion board, is kind of summarize. So I found a really cool website, monster.com, and I found this job ad for a cosmetologist in Lincoln Park, Illinois. I'm not planning to go to Illinois, but I thought it was a cool job. And here's a couple of the things that they mentioned that I really like that I think fits my personality. They want someone who's a natural problem solver and always looking for creative and effective solutions. If I use that exact sentence right here, I would put quote marks around that, right? Quote marks around that. Right? When I'm talking about it in the discussion board, right? And otherwise, I would try to paraphrase, like instead of copying and pasting the whole thing, look through it and just kind of tell us, I really enjoy making people feel beautiful. So I think I would be a good fit for them, just kind of a little phrase right here or something like that, right? We're not ever going to copy and paste this whole thing and throw it in there and then just call it good. So that's what I'm talking about here, okay? Remember, the assignment itself, if I could go back, the assignment itself, whoop, that's a different class. Let me find our class. This one. It does not ask you to do like citations or parentheses or anything right now. You're just going to be typing a discussion. I still want you to be in a good habit of mind to, when you find these right jobs that are good jobs and you do start adding descriptions about them, you try to put things in your own words a little bit, tell where you got it from, and then put things in your own words a little bit. And if you do end up copying and pasting something pretty close or directly, put those quote marks around it to give credit, right? Okay, so the next part of this is, what do I do? So this is just asking you a general question. What kinds of job opportunities are offered? It's not necessarily, it says describe, right? But all you need is a paragraph. You're not going to be doing anything super hardcore and specific at this time. You can just throw out some general stuff at this point, right? So you really have no need to be trying to copy and paste much at all anyway at this point. You just kind of want to talk about it, okay? It does not, again, for this part of the assignment, for your discussion, ask you to cite the source, but eventually when we put it into an actual paper, you will. So how do I do that? Let me go, I'm gonna have to exit this screen share and go into another screen share on Word. So give me a second here. Let me go into another screen share and show you what I would do. Let me go back to this one first. Okay, sorry, it's gonna take me a few seconds here to switch back and forth. So I'm gonna go back to this one more time and look at it, okay? We've got a colorist, licensed cosmetologist at Madison Reed, Lincoln Park, Illinois, okay? Who is the employer? I'm not sure. Scroll down a little bit, see if you can get some more information. We've got our copyright for Monster, so that's gonna be important to us. A date, 2021 Monster Worldwide. We don't know the exact information straight from here. They've got the location, and Madison Reed appears to be the company, right? And if I wanted to, see how it's got a link here, I could just double check on that, but it looks like Madison Reed is the company. They're the owner, Madison Reed. Here we are, okay? So I'm just kind of double checking on that. I pulled their job from Monster, but the owner, the person who posted this, it's not a person, but it's a company that posted this, is Madison Reed. Let me exit the screen share with all of this in mind. Stop share, and I'm going to go to my Word document now. And I'm going to open the floor for Q&A in just a second to help students out with this. Remember that our basic format says author, and we do a first, last, title, right? This is our basic format. Website, and we would italicize this, date, and URL. This is our basic format, okay? Remember that the website would be italicized. Thumbs up if you think we have a full author here with a first and last name. On a job ad, do we have an author with a full first and last name? No, we don't, okay? So in this case, we're just going to use the name of the organization or the company. We don't know who it was at Madison Reed. Madison Reed could be a person. We don't know that. It just looks like it's the name of the business, and their staff or someone at their staff is who posted this or who wrote this, okay? So we're just going to give credit to the company or the organization. The title is going to be the actual name of the job ad. So I'm going to have to go back in a minute. I'm going to fill it in right here. We'll go back to a separate screen share. Actual name or title of the job ad. I'll come back to that in a second and fill it in. Website is monster.com. Did you see that, guys? I pulled it from monster.com. I'll come back and do the italics. Notice I scrolled to the bottom of the screen. I didn't see an exact date. Sometimes, and we'll check it again in a second, sometimes the employer will post an exact date and time for when this was posted. You don't have to do the time, but the date, if you did see an exact date. If you didn't, just at least use the year. So we're going to look and see on that page if we can find, like, this was posted on February 12th or something like that. When was it posted? We'll see if we can find that. If we can't, at least give me the year. And then you would do the URL, okay? And I'll show you how to do that part as well. So I'm going to italicize monster.com. And then the pieces we need to fill in here are, what's the actual title of the job ad itself? It was like a colorist and something else. And then what's the URL? I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm almost finished, and then I'll take some questions on how to do this here we are back at monster.com. So sometimes they will say, it says it was posted 4 days ago. So I could backtrack on my calendar and put February 20th safely here, right? 20th of February of 2021, and that would be safe to do. If you, for some reason, don't see it or can't find it, you still could just put the 2021 and I will give you credit. Okay, no problem there. What we need also is a colorist, licensed cosmetologist at Madison Reed, Lincoln Park. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to stop my screen share again. Go back to my Word document. Okay, Word document is right here. I'm going to fill in this part with my actual ad. And if it gives me a funny font, I might have to retype it into a normal font. Yeah, it kind of went weird on me here. So I might just have to undo. I'm going to hit the undo button there. I'm going to copy that down here to just, that way I've got something to write with. So I'm just going to copy it. Colorist, licensed cosmetologist at Madison Reed, Lincoln Park, IL. And sometimes their titles might be really funky and brief, and just do the best you can on this, okay? They may not have their title spelled out very properly or whatever. Don't worry about that. Just at least give me the title of what it is, even if they don't have it presented very well. If they've got a lot of weird like acronyms, or if it's kind of jumbled together, at least just give me the real title, whatever they came up with, okay? Now the last part I will do is I'm going to copy the exact URL. So I'm going to stop the screen share here, share the other screen, back to monster.com. To copy a link, you just click on it, turn it blue, and you're going to use the right click. So your middle finger click on a mouse, copy, go back to my Word document. So switching the screen share again here. Going to paste that in. Paste the URL. This is going to help me, your teacher, to find it. Now, notice I skipped the publisher part because monster.com, and if you scroll all the way down, it's owned by monster.com LLC or something like that, pretty close. So there's no need to like repeat it again. You're covered. And that's going to be the case in most instances. Most of the time, if you can just get, I call it the big five, who's the author who put this together, or what's at least the company name that put this together, what's the title of it, what's the website, what's the date, and what's the URL. Those big five things, if you can give credit to at least those in almost every class in your college, I can guarantee it, no matter what the department is, you'll get pretty good scores on your works cited pages, okay? And then some of the finer tuning, more technical stuff, if we use academic sources and things like that, gets a little more complicated, but in general, for many of your college classes, this is enough. This will work, okay, to at least get most of your points, okay? So with that, let me take some questions. Ideally, we would do Times New Roman too, right? And that gives your paper assignment. I don't care what the font is for your discussion boards, but when we eventually put this into our paper, we would highlight the whole thing, set it. I've got it set to 20 point right now, but we would go Times New Roman, 12 point up here, just like any type of other college essay, okay? I'm going to stop the share now and take questions. No questions? Nope. Everybody's good on that? You feel like you can document your source as you start looking at job ads? Yeah?
It's alphabetized by author, correct?
Very good question. Great. Yes. Okay. I'm not going to be too picky. And again, right now we're doing the discussion board part of it. But yes, ideally, once you're done with everything, what I do is I keep a running list and I just start adding them in there as I go. But once you're done with everything, you want to cut and paste and organize them in alphabetical order. Yes. Very good question. I'm going to check the chat box. Yes, thanks for that tip as well. So JD's got a tip as far as like clicking the clipboard and doing text only as well. Other questions? Okay, so that's kind of your instructions. Remember, for the discussion board this week, it does not say you have to cite the source. You're just talking in general right now. I looked on monster.com and here's a few of the jobs I found that looked really cool to me. Here's why I think I would be a good fit. As we move forward though, and I'll show you part 6 of that assignment sheet. Let me go back here on Canvas. Here it is, the assignment sheet. Part 6, and this is a hint, this is going to be the assignment for next week. Part 6 asks you to start analyzing. So you're just talking in general right now. You don't have to give me a lot of specifics. If you quote something directly versus doing a copy paste, please put quote marks around it, okay? But here for next week, we're going to start analyzing. You pick a couple of them that you really like. You're going to start analyzing them. And this is a part where you probably will be directly quoting. What were some of the lines on the job interview, or not job interview, but job ad that stood out to me that I liked? Put quote marks around it, give credit to it, make sure you cite the source, etc. Okay, and I've got that big note here. So this week, it's general. Coming up next week, we're going to start analyzing. And we're going to start citing our sources as well. And again, we're preparing for that paper that's due during finals week. Okay. Are there any questions? I've already asked a couple times, but one more run through. If there are no questions, it's 9:53. So I'm going to conclude the call and stay on with the 2 students who are going to be meeting with me for their appointments. Okay. So remember, we have a discussion board as well as a chapter quiz. I don't have the video recording uploaded yet for Monday, but I will. And also, if you've got any questions whatsoever about this assignment that I've just gone over, that's available to you in Canvas. That was from last week and it's available in Canvas. I'd have to kind of navigate back here. If you go to Canvas homepage, Canvas home, scroll down to the class recordings. I did get that one uploaded for us to see, a video where I was going over the this one, the final paper, and I'll keep adding to this so that you've got access to it if you've missed. Okay, guys, I've taken roll. You are free to go for the day, and stay on, JD. I'm going to meet with you for your student appointment. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah, Arthur, if you have a quick question, I can answer that too. Ruth, if you have a quick question, I can answer that too. I'm going to stop.
Okay, no,